Welcome, everybody. Thank y'all for coming back into another special moment on Di-RRec Gaming. I'm very hyped. Tonight, I got a special guest. As if you aren't looking deep enough now, you should know. But before I let him show himself, man, I got to give this guy his flowers, man. This guy right here, man, is a master of parody in our gaming streets and one that is truly needed. To take all the seriousness out of the floodgates and to do it with such precision, with such comedic genius. This guy does it straight from his home, has his wife along with him, and they put these videos out as tag team partners, which shows a significant value when we talk about family, which shows a significant value when we talk about a husband and wife, what shows a significant value of just the overall sense of having a little bit of fun, taking time out in your life and having a little bit of fun, and not just doing it by yourself, but doing it with somebody that you love, doing it with somebody that you really care about. This guy here, man, can make you laugh any part of the day. If you're having a bad day, you just go over there and check out one of his videos, and he's got you laughing, man. And to me, that is one of the biggest elements of why I wanted him on Di-RRec Gaming. I feel like nobody does it better than this guy. He is what I call a gaming street legend in his own right, because he's put out countless amount of videos and he aces them left and right every single time. If you don't know who I'm talking about right now, middle-aged gamer, man, in the building, aka Mag. How you doing, man?
What's going on? Well, you know what? I'm so glad to be here tonight. And yeah, here I am, folks. If anybody wants to see what I'm looking like, yeah, coming to you live. And you know what? It's a Thursday night. It's Thirsty Thursday. We're gonna have some fun tonight. We got some things to talk about, and it's an absolute honor for me to be here tonight. So yeah, let's get right into this, man. Let's do it up.
Let's do it, man. We here, brother. Let's do it. We are here today. Mag, before we get started, man, I always like to question my guests, okay? I always like to start with an origin. We're gamers, right? So I'm always curious of what got people into gaming and why they love gaming even now, because I salute guys like you. One, who are not ashamed of their age, because you don't need to be, for one. Who are not afraid to show still that you can have fun as you get older with gaming. Gaming is one of those games like golf, like pool, like chess. You get better as you go, and you enjoy it more from what you learn. And so I'm curious, man, to know, when did you start gaming? Who inspired you? And what was your very first console, man?
I got to tell you, I started back in if you can believe this, 1979. All right.
The year I was born.
Okay. I was born in 75. So I was 4 years old.
All right.
I was, it was 1979 at my aunt and uncle's house. And I went over there. I was just a little kid. And they had one of them wood panel Pongs. You remember those things? Like the Pong with the knobs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they had one of those, like the wood panel ones, those old 70s style. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So we started playing around with the knobs, started playing up with this stuff. And we're like, all right, let me see what's going on here. And then all of a sudden we realized, okay, wow, this is like a game. So we figured out it was a game. So my brother and I started playing this thing, right? And we couldn't stop. And then it just hooked me, right? So I looked at it and I was just like, okay, this is something now. This is something that I want to do all the time. So I started, every time we went over there, right? It was my dad's sister. So every time we went over there, the first thing I would say hi and run to the basement to go right back to the Pong, right? And then Pong had 3 games on it. It was handball, tennis, and hockey. And that's it. I would do that. And that just went on for a bit. But I mean, I'm still a kid, right? So we're running around, still playing outside. Remember, this is like the 70s and 80s, kids. So remember, we were actually outside doing stuff. We weren't inside. Okay, sitting around getting fat like kids now. When I have to, I have to force them out the door to go do something. I go throw some hoops. I got your basketball net, and it just sits there. And, yeah. So, but anyway, in those days, we're still doing that. So now I'm gonna fast forward a few years. It was like the early '80s. Then my dad got a PC, not for gaming, obviously, not in those days, but but there was a couple of games. So he picked up a few games. And there was this one game that came out. I'll never forget it. It was called King's Quest. And King's Quest was like, basically consider it like Assassin's Creed Valhalla kind of thing, or maybe like a Witcher kind of thing. But
Right.
so it was like an action, like an adventure game, right? You had to go around, you had to like find stuff, whatever. And it was the first 3D game I'd ever seen. So like you could actually like walk around trees. That was like a huge thing back then, right?
Right.
So we did all that. I started getting into that, and I said, "Holy, this is unbelievable." And then there was a story to boot, right? So now there's a story, and I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. So now what you're doing is you're combining all the things I love. You're combining movies, okay? You're combining, storybooks. You're combining video games. You're combining comic books. All these things I love, and you put it all into one. Into one like cohesive package, which would of course be this game.
That's right.
And that's when I fell in love for real. That's when I really fell in love with gaming. And then I was just like, okay, this is unbelievable. Move on. Then it was the NES, the original NES. And then my neighbor had a Sega Master System. So I would play Nintendo games at home. Obviously not a lot because, in those days, you got 2 games a year. You got one at Christmas. You got one at your birthday, and you got nothing else in between. You know what I mean? So, like, that's the way it went. So that's how we did. That's how that went down. And then I would go to my neighbor's house to play a Sega Master System because I didn't have one, right? And so there was different games there. Wonder Boy and I can't remember the name of the other game. Alex Kidd in Miracle World or something. I can't remember the damn names.
Yeah, Alex Kidd in Wonderland. Yeah,
that's the one. Emmanuel A1, what's up, buddy? He usually comes to the Gaming After Dark chat. It's been a while. So, so anyways, then we moved on from there. Then I had a bit of a lull. I'm not going to lie. We had a bit of a thing. Actually, this is a funny story. I'm going to tell you this story. I have to tell you this story.
No, take your time, brother.
Listen to this.
This is your time to shine, baby. Your time to shine, man.
Let me tell you something. I failed grade 9 science because I was playing the NES so much, right?
Right.
And my dad went wild. And so he dragged us outside to the garage, and he came out with a sledgehammer. I swear to God, I'm not making any of this up. He came out with a sledgehammer, and we're like, what's Dad doing? And we had to stand there. My brother and I had to stand there in the garage like this, just stand there. And he comes out with a sledgehammer, and he brings out the NES, and he put it right in the middle of the garage, and he smashed it.
Don't tell me he traumatized you, man.
Well, yeah. For years, he smashed it with the sledgehammer. And then he smashed each individual cartridge of the games we had. So that's it. There was no more gaming in the house from that moment on, because then we were messing up in school, right? So then what we did is that my dad had my dad would always get PCs for work and stuff, right? So we started doing, because we couldn't have a console in the house anymore. It was like banned in my house, right? So what we did is we started getting PC games, and we would hide them in subcategories on the computer so you wouldn't know. Right. So I would put it under like whatever school, like homework or something, or I put like science test or something like that. Right. And then when you click on science test and then you click on another subdirective, then I could play like Double Dragon.
Right.
Because I would have it hiding in there, right? So that's thank you, by the way, Louise there. Old school parenting at its best.
Let me stop real quick, Mag. Emmanuel A1. Mag is in the building. This is going to be an amazing episode on Di-RRec Gaming. There you go. Yeah, I had to represent you, mate, A1. I had to keep it up there for a minute. Yeah, man, I understand, bro. Your dad seems like he's from the old school. He didn't play around.
No, he didn't.
He wanted to let y'all know at an early age, man.
No. There was no. There was a lot of love in the house. Let me tell you. But let me tell you something. You messed up. You were finished. Like there was no mercy.
Fatality.
Yeah, there was no. Yeah, exactly. There was no mercy. So it was, that's the way it went there. So so we had to hide games or whatever, right? Obviously, now I'm going to fast forward in the 90s. So that what we did is, because we couldn't do that Yeah, so many dope hats tonight. The thing is, we couldn't game in the house. So what we started doing is going out to the arcades, because now I was at the point where I obviously didn't have a car. But I mean, we ride our bikes to the mall or whatever. It was only like 5 minutes away, 10 minutes away. So my brother and I, my friends or whatever, we'd ride our bikes to the mall and we go spend the day in the arcades, right? And now we're hitting that Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat era.
Yeah, bro. Big
right?
deal.
You remember
they
those
don't
days?
Even understand that.
Those
they
vicious
don't
battles.
Oh, yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. That was huge, bro.
Street Fighter was so crazy in those days. People used to get, I'm not even kidding, I'm sure it's happened wherever people, in our day, people used to get shot and stabbed over over Street Fighter. Like, they would be like guys would have beef. Yeah. Yep.
You didn't go to an arcade by yourself. I don't know what people think arcades was as friendly places. It was not a friendly place.
No.
You walked in with your friends. It was survival. It wasn't because we were going in there because it was a great place to be. We went to go play games for survival.
That's right. No, it was crazy. And like, if you did a cheap move, like if you're in the middle of a fight and let's say you're playing Street Fighter and you did a cheap move, like for example, at least in the arcades I was in, throwing was not allowed.
Right.
Like, you could not throw a character.
No throwing. Right.
Yeah, no throwing, because that was a cheap move. Because like, I mean, you can go right in there and you just grab them and throw a character.
If they're blocking. If they're blocking, you just grab them. Exactly.
Right. So here's the thing: that no throwing was allowed. If people started throwing people, whatever, you get a warning. You get a couple of warnings. It'd be like, listen, don't do that. All right, that's a cheap move. Don't be doing this. And then all of a sudden, if it persisted, there'd be an ass whooping following it. There'd be guys waiting for you outside the arcade.
You're right.
And like, this is how crazy it was. I remember reading stories in the news. It'd be like, guy went to the bathroom and then he got stabbed because it was over a Street Fighter game. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I remember those days. Like, yeah, you're right. It was scary to play. Those days. Remember, in those days when you wanted next, you had to.
How can you not laugh, people?
I know it's kind of funny.
Probably the most funniest show I've ever had. Mag has came and took all the seriousness out of Di-RRec Gaming. Di-RRec Gaming is just funny today. Come on in and laugh.
You remember you have to put your quarter on the screen?
On the screen, bro.
You had to put your quarter on the screen and you were in line and you had to wait your turn. And I'm like going, okay, please don't shoot me or stab me if I beat you, please, for the love of God. Quarter. So yeah, so like you did your thing, right? So anyway, that's what we did in the 90s. But then I got to tell you,
man, you forgot one more thing before you move on.
Yeah.
And the people behind your back just looking over your shoulder.
I know. And 9 times out of 10 were trying to pickpocket me while I was playing, right? Especially if you're wearing especially in Canada, I'm wearing like a winter jacket and I'm wearing like a parka and I'm playing. And then I got some guy trying to reach into my pockets, trying to take my wallet. I'm like, yeah, okay, I know what's going on. But anyway, so these are all things that happened. But let me tell you something. So then what happened is I saw one of those magazines, those video game magazines. My neighbor, the guy with the Sega Master System, he used to get all the game video game magazines way back in the day, right? So I'm flipping through one of these magazines one day, and I see this thing called Sony has this machine coming out called a PlayStation. And I'm like, okay, that's a cool name. I like the name. And I'm like, that's all right. And then I'm like, okay, let me see what's going on with this PlayStation. And then it released in Japan. Now, if anybody was old enough to remember, is that in Japan it released a year before we got it. That's right.
In Japan, 1996 in America.
Yeah, exactly, in North America. And so like we got that a year later. So they already had it. So I'm like, okay, so let me see. So I kept following it. So like every issue of this magazine that came out, I would read more about this PlayStation or whatever else, right? And then they started showing games that were going to be coming out with the North American launch. So they had like Rayman, the original Rayman, Ridge Racer. They were showing Tomb Raider, and then they were showing Resident Evil. All originals at that time, right? These had never been heard of before. Oh, you know what the other one was? Twisted Metal. And so I'm looking at these games.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, Twisted Metal. So like those 5 games, right? Amazing. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm looking at these games, I'm looking at these screenshots, and I'm going, oh, wow, okay, this is huge. What the hell are these? So anyways, it finally came down to release day, and I was there day one, and I said, you know what? Oh, and there was another one. I can't remember. It was an NFL game, and it wasn't Blitz, and it wasn't Madden. I can't remember what the name it was. I'll find the name later. But the thing is that these games all came out. So anyways, I go and buy this system, and I go buy a couple of games or whatever, right? And within the first launch window, I had bought Tomb Raider, I had bought Resident Evil, Ridge Racer, and Rayman. And then this NFL game, which, like I said, I still can't remember what the name of it was.
Yo, Chit Chat, help him out, man. Y'all
there
know
was an
up.
NFL game for the PlayStation 1, and it was amazing. And I can't remember what it was. But anyways, either way, point is, I just, that's it. It brought the gaming right back. Now, keep in mind, I was also old enough at this point. Yes, I was still at home, but I was old enough at this point where I didn't have to worry about my parents anymore, right? So I still had the PlayStation, and I think that's it. NFL Game Day. I think that's it. Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Game trailers came in.
Yeah. Thank you, Trailblazers. That's huge. NFL Game Day. Yeah, amazing.
Yes, sir.
So now now I've got this PlayStation 1. Now at that time I also had a TV in my room. Now I only had a TV in my room is because my dad had got a new TV, and then now he put this other one in like the cold cellar. He was going to give it to my grandmother or something.
Don't
I don't know.
Start, y'all. Don't
Dr. Cringe.
Don't read it, man.
That's so funny. Yeah, I'm actually, you know what? I'm actually interested. Emmanuel, you're too late, Emmanuel. We already found out what it was. I'm actually still interested to see what happened to that doctor. Anyways, the thing is that my dad left this TV in the cold cellar, and he was going to give it to my grandmother. Well, he forgot all about it because he was a busy man. Well, guess what? Okay, I snatched that TV in the middle of the night, and the next thing you know, by the next morning, it was hooked up in my bedroom, and I had it next to my like desk where I was supposed to do my homework. No, the TV was there, and the PlayStation was shoved underneath the desk, so you couldn't see the PlayStation. Just in case my dad was gonna wild out one day and all of a sudden go smashing something else. I'm like, no, he's not smashing this.
You always remember that. You always remember that moment.
I'll always remember that. Now, the thing is, that was $1,000, okay? A PlayStation 1 back in those days. And I'm like, he's not going to be smashing this. Like, he smashes this, I'll burn the house down, right? So, anyway, I hid this thing under the desk, so he couldn't see it. But the nights, brother, let me tell you, the nights that I was up till 2, 3 in the morning, even on school nights, whatever else, playing Tomb Raider, Resident Evil, my brother would sneak in the room, close the door, we'd have the lights off. The sound would be so low, you could barely hear it. And the two of us would be there all night.
That's right.
And he wouldn't even play. He'd just watch for hours. And he'd be like, go get the plant and then pour acid on the plant. And you know what I mean? Like that's how we did it, right? Co-op. That was co-op in those days. That's right.
You're right.
One person telling you what to do, and you were doing it, right?
And you do it. Yeah.
So I was a PlayStation disciple. Fast forward to PlayStation 2. Same deal. You know, I'm like just more of the good games that came with PlayStation 1, whatever. Now, hear me out here. I'm wearing an Xbox hat, but guess what? I never bought an original Xbox. Wasn't interested. I wasn't interested. I wasn't interested in Halo. I wasn't interested in any of it. I was just like, you know, because I was a PlayStation guy. But then one day, one of my friends had a 360, and I saw it. He turned it on, and I just was completely blown away by the graphics. And I was watching PS2, keep in mind, right? Like God of War 2 on the PS2. And then all of a sudden, this guy turns on the 360 and he's got Dead Rising on there. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, what is this? And then he's like, dude, this is the new Xbox, man. You got to get this. Literally left his house, got in my car like I was possessed. And I literally drove straight to the EB, which is, of course, GameStop for you guys. The EB Games. And I bought the 360 on the spot. And I bought Dead Rising with it. And then I became an Xbox guy. And then, of course, achievements started popping, right? So achievements start popping. I'm like, what the hell is this now?
Right.
And I'm like, what are these achievements? So now I'm into this. So now, I mean, I'm not really like following it that hard, but I mean, I'm up to like almost 400,000 achievement points, whatever. But I'm nowhere near Rand, for Christ's sake, you know, with his 1.4 million or whatever. But like, I started getting into it. So now I became a hardcore Xbox guy. And just adored it. Yeah, I bought a PS3. Absolutely love that too. But I bought it like a couple years down the road where they had this deal that if you traded in like well, they had this deal. Check this out. If you traded in 12 games, you got a PS3 for free. So you remember in those days you had to buy your games.
Nothing for gamers like us.
Physical, right? So I had a big stack. You know those? Remember like those DVD towers?
Yeah, you had.
I had a DVD tower full of 360 games.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm like, 12 games, whatever.
That was nothing. Exactly.
I just grabbed a stack, brought it in, and I got a PS3 for free with Uncharted that came bundled with it. And I fell in love with Uncharted. And so I'm like, wow, okay, here we go. So now Then I get into the Xbox One. I waited a couple years for the PS4 until it was cheaper. And let's face it, okay, the first 3-4 years of the PS4 era, there was nothing to play anyway. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah,
and then when it started getting better at the end of the gen, then I got the PS4, got all the games. But now an interesting thing happened. Then I became this, all right, podcaster, YouTuber, Twitter guy, this and that, whatever. And then the next gen was coming, and I'm like, I cannot wait, because now people are looking at me for answers, and people are looking at me and asking me, Mag, what are you getting? Mag, what's this?
Right.
Mag, how's that? Mag, how's the PS5? How's the Series X? How's the Series S? You know, I needed to know all this stuff. And in order for me to know all this stuff, that means I had to buy everything. So I bought everything. So I got 2 Series X's, I got 1 Series S, I got 2 PS5s, and I got an Oculus Quest 2 and 2 Switches. I just went nuts. And I'm like, that's it. I'm getting everything so that nobody, first of all, nobody can call me like, oh, you're just a whatever fanboy, this and that. And I'm like, no, I got everything. And then, the funny thing is, some Sony guys who do call me out, by the way, I actually can see those guys, and I've looked them up before, by the way, some of them, and I look them up and I just want to check out what's going on. I not only own more games than them, I have like triple the trophies that these clowns have. So that's why I go after these guys the way I do, because they talk so much, but they got nothing to show for it. And I'm like, I'm the Xbox fanboy who got 282 trophies in 1 year, the first year of the PS5, and 11 platinums.
You know what gets me?
But I'm the Xbox fanboy, right?
You know what gets me, man? You're right, though, because I remember when I used to play on PlayStation, games were so easy. I got bored, and I never bought a PlayStation because my friends had it. Yeah. So I was always playing on it. But you're right. We're arcade kids. So when the Xbox started getting achievements, that made me feel a sense of arcade-ish again. Xbox Arcade Live off the 360. It brought a sense of community. And Xbox sealed it for me. Xbox is the reason I stopped caring about consoles. Now, I'm like you. Do I have multiple consoles? Yes, I do. Do I care to tell anybody? No, I don't. I'm like you. I'm Xbox strong. That bothers people. I don't know why, but people feel like, Mag, that we have to have all these consoles to validate ourselves. We don't.
No, you don't.
I play all the time. There's people that can't afford consoles, and whatever they're using to play video games, then God forbid, let them play the video games on whatever they have, because that's the era. That's the era that we grew up in. We grew up when we were younger. We didn't care what console we played on. We just played those games. It never crossed our minds to have that in our heads.
No. We didn't fight about it. Like if someone had something different. If someone had something different, I'd be like, okay, so listen, you come to my house and play my games. I'll go to your house to play yours. Because in those days,
that's it.
Like I said, you couldn't afford, I mean unless you were born rich, but like, the thing is, you couldn't afford all that stuff. And like I said, when did you get games? Your birthday, you get one. And then on Christmas, you got one. And that's it. There were no blockbusters. There were no game passes.
Nope.
There were no renting games. That all came later.
Yeah.
Right. So like, and the games, oh, by the way, just so anybody knows, anybody's old enough to remember all this, even back in the 80s, cartridge games were $100 back then.
Talk about it.
Okay, so you want to talk about inflation?
$500, man.
Dude, you want to talk inflation? That is insane that games were almost $100 back in the 80s. So imagine like a parent, like, one of our parents or whatever, struggling back then, trying to get their life up and running, trying to make sure that their kids are set right.
And you ask for a video game.
And you ask for a video game that's $100 in the 80s? Are you out of your mind? You could buy half a car in the 80s with $100 practically. You could buy one of those old Malibus or something. I don't know.
Exactly. Lifetime supply of chips. Right.
It's crazy. It's not like now. Look at now. Like now I got my kids, like they have access to hundreds and hundreds of games, and it's costing me nothing.
It is. Yeah, exactly.
Like, what is this? Why didn't we have
I'm game sharing with my son. My son right now put pressure on me to get Ragnarok. I'm like, yo, Assassin's Creed Ragnarok, Dad. He busted on me on my other show the other night. He busted in the room. Oh, I just saw a trailer, and I had to tell him I'm doing a show. But look, Sonic Echo X, real quick. Hey, it's Mag. Like your videos on Twitter and your Tony Baloney voice. What's up, Di-RRec Gaming? Keep going, yo. Sonic Echo X.
Thank you, brother. And thanks for coming out to check us out, man. It's amazing. You got some great people in this chat already. So
yeah, man, they're awesome, man. They, like I said, they've been with me. Some of these guys been with me ever since the years of Mixer, man, and it's crazy how a lot of them. There's one guy that remembered me on Twitch 5 years ago.
Really?
When I was doing Rico on Twitch, yeah, he found me and follows me now, and it's crazy, man. It's like that's the kind of sense of joy I get. This isn't, that's what I like about what you do, man. It's unique. When I first saw your videos, I was like, who is this guy, man? Who is this guy? Because I was dying, man. I heard your wife. Your wife started out like somewhere in the kitchen, and she's walking, and you're seeing the camera. What the heck? And here you got your pony outfit on, man. And you're sitting here, and dude, it's when I saw that very first video, and I was like, this dude basically summed up the whole entire day. How did he know? And the parodies are just excellent because it's exactly what happened. It's exactly what transpired, just like the doctor one. Dude, I fell out, man. I was like, I was waiting. I called for it. I was like, where's Mag's video? Somebody sent it because I know he made one. We got to get it in here and go for the final blow. And then somebody sent it to me, man. I died laughing.
It's funny.
I died laughing. It's just hilarious, bro. We need you out here. We love you out here, man. It's like I said, man, you cannot have a soul. I don't care what console you prefer on. You don't have a soul if you're not laughing at this stuff, because some of you guys need to understand that we don't care about your personals, right? This is just gaming. So you're either gaming or you're not. And like Mag said, a lot of y'all are just fronting on social media, and we get that. We
understand. The saying is they play Twitter, they're playing Twitter, not consoles, right?
Right.
Because I've noticed a lot of guys who've been talking about these games. Oh, this is better than that. This is better than that. That's better than this. This is better than that. The only difference is with someone like me. First of all, I don't have a lot of free time, but when I do have a few minutes, sometimes I'm that guy who might just be like, I'm going to check this guy out, and I go, and you know what? I got receipts, guys, because I check out these guys are talking and whatever, and I look in their timelines, and then I look on their consoles, and I see that the game that they're touting, they didn't even buy it. So they're not even playing it. So I'm like, so you're bigging up this game. You're talking this, you're talking that, you're talking this, and you didn't even buy it? And I'm like, you're talking about me, but I'm the guy who bought it. By the way, for $100, just so you know, for example, like PlayStation 5 games up here in Canada are $105 with tax. Just so everybody's well aware of how insane Sony's prices are outside of the United States.
Yeah, for real.
So, and I know people who in Australia, by the way, and New Zealand, they're paying $130 for a single game. It is insanity. So, anyway, the point is that like I find that like sometimes, first of all, I don't argue with people. I don't bother with that. Right. I stay away from all that. The other thing that I don't do, unless you're completely out of control, I do not block people, actually. And even people who don't like me or whatever, I actually don't block them. Unless you're like more torturous
for them to watch you.
Exactly. Yeah, unless they're really toxic. Right. You got to be like really bad. Like you got to be saying something that's like just borderline going to get you arrested. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And so there are a couple out there who I've had to block. And that's fine. I blocked those people. But I got to tell you, it's been like under 25 people that I blocked out of the thousands and thousands, and if not the hundreds of thousands, and now actually into the millions of views that all my videos and stuff have gotten over the last year. I've only blocked about 25 people.
Appreciate it, man.
Sammy V, what's up? That's what's going on. So like, that's what I find. I don't actually block these people because a lot of them sometimes they just get, they get all angry, whatever. But then when you actually get to know them, you find out that they're actually they just get a little worked up. You know what I mean? So, and especially when I do videos
with the doctor.
Yeah.
Yo, Mag, I don't know what's up with Canada, but Canada has flooded the network, man. Shouts to Canada tonight, man. I see a whole lot of Canadians in here tonight, man.
Well, there
Shouts
you go.
to Canada. The Maple Leaf country, man. Golly, I got Bubbles Knight, Sammy V. It's going down up in here. Yo, shout out to the old chit chat crew. You know what? Hold on. Let's do this, man. Let's do this.
Go for it.
You gotta do this right. I ain't doing it right. Shout out to my man Fugly. Shout out to Luis Jimenez in the building. Shout out to Judah 14114. Graphic God, the legend, is in the building.
Hey.
Emmanuel A1. Shout out to David VGS. Let's see. Flight Sports TV. Shout out to you, man. Matter of fact, I haven't seen you around in these parks, man. So thanks for stopping by. If you was a fan of Mag and you came through, then I'm honored, man. Thank you a lot. Thank you a lot. Games trailers in the building, man. Who else? Like Sonic Echo X. Thank you for everything as well. Fireboss, my man Fireboss, Sammy V. Let's see. Nemesis, the God. Let's keep going. Is there anybody else? Bubbles Nights. Thank you so much, man, for stopping by. And that's it, y'all. I just wanted to give that short shout outs to the chit chat community right now. They're in here doing their thing. That's Sammy V. Sony consoles out here 650 and games are 80 plus in Canada. Man, it's hard out here. And Game Pass, this is why Game Pass is gaining so much traction. But before we get into all of that serious stuff, man, thanks for your story, man. Thanks for everything that you do once again. And now y'all we're fixing to hit this title. I know y'all really ready to y'all was ready to come in here and get some seriousness out of Mag. So we're gonna do that. So Mag, what do you think, man? Here was my prediction. I've been said it. I'm on fire right now, as a matter of fact. Microsoft is going to gain the traction this go around based off of two things that I said. Throughout history, and being a gamer for what, 3 eras at least 3 eras, 80s, 90s, 2Ks, right? We're not going to make it out of the 2Ks. So I always say this: take a good look at the bad guys, because it's going to be the last time you see bad guys like this anymore. You won't get us no more. That's it. It's just the truth.
Yep.
You know, I do this for my kids too, man. One day, when they want to wild out, look back, Mag got kids, I got kids, man. They can see us. They're not walking around here on YouTube looking at these goofies, man. They got some relatives in the building, man, that they can look at. And if you study, everybody's not a student of the game. Everybody doesn't enjoy doing that, but we do, because we came from the nothing. So we're a little bit more observant. We like to know things in our gaming community, and that's just our heritage. That's just from being kids of the, like you said, the 80s and the 90s, when we played outside. So we had discourse outside. We talked outside, went to the playground, we taught school. Hey, it was serious. This is what they don't understand. Today's generation don't know what it took to get here. If it wasn't for the guys like us, you wouldn't have gaming today. We basically saved gaming. Atari crashed. Nintendo came in. If we didn't support Nintendo, you might as well call it the day. You might as well just call it the day. And so since our parents really took their hard-earned money to buy these consoles and buy these games, and we stayed sneaking off to the arcades and stuff, stealing little quarters out of our moms and dad wallet and purses and stuff, just to play 5, 2, 3, 10 minutes. If you was good, 30 minutes on a game. I mean, we did all of this stuff. To see it today, we see things differently. Because we come from it. We see things so differently. So I looked at it like this: whenever technology changes, Microsoft always benefited. We are in another change. It never benefits Sony. When the technology changes, Sony has to sit, look across the fence, observe, and then strategize their next move. It's not a jab at Sony. It's because Sony is not a technological company. Sony is an electronic company. So they produce the hardware devices that the software goes inside of. So they can't make a move until software is king to a company like Sony, right? So when I saw that Microsoft went in and co-engineered with AMD, I knew right then, Microsoft just put that brick wall up. You can get things, but you won't get what we get. We're calling the shots for next gen. That's what I got out of that one. Yep. And then second was they didn't have the chip failures. So on top of great strategy, Game Pass was going to work through the pandemic. I said that. I was like, man, when everything else fails for Microsoft, Game Pass is going to carry that whole business. And it did. It carried it through the storm where Sony just didn't have that. And it struggled. And then with all the other things added onto it, it's making it hard to compete the way it's used to competing. And now you're hearing that Xbox didn't give Japan a chance. You are literally seeing Japanese Xbox gamers speaking on Twitter. We've never seen this before.
Every day I see new Japanese people coming in saying, got my Series X, got my Series S, got my Series S. Every single day I see more and more of it.
We took a beating last gen because Microsoft had disappeared in Japan. Okay? That is an L on Microsoft. But what we never really got was the people telling us. Until now. But they're telling us even deeper things, like the reason why we didn't talk, the reason why we didn't say anything is because of the old guard. There's an old guard in their culture, and it's dying off slowly. You have this new generation coming out, and they want to speak, and they want to talk, and they want to diverse themselves in the conversation. And so they're telling us that these stores, you know, because the media was putting out that Xbox didn't have the lines. That nobody wants it here. And they're letting you know that affected our culture. If you was an Xbox fan, you didn't want to be caught out there. They didn't want to be caught out there because they see it in their articles, the bashing. They see all the negativity. Yeah. So it affected the stores, they said. The stores was putting Xboxes way in the back, isolated. Yep. So looking across the waters, right? It looked as if nobody wanted an Xbox. That wasn't the real case. It's just Microsoft gave up. They wanted Microsoft to smash the door in. They're rebels in secret. They really wanted somebody to break that mold. Now Microsoft is doing it, and it's making them talk. Victory has happened. They don't see it. They don't see it now, right? They're always laughing at us, right? Great Xbox guys like us, when we say some stuff,
they can go ahead.
That's fine. But I ain't caught an L yet. They just put Xbox Wire over there. What's Xbox Wire, man? All the latest news.
Yep.
You see what they just did?
Yep.
So now they told the Japanese gamers, you are no longer in the dark. You will no longer be in the dark. We recognized you. We see what you said. We are sorry for what we did. We didn't have enough courage.
And Phil was just there too.
Yeah, they cowered out. Microsoft, in order to become great, you need to admit your failures. Plus, Microsoft has an image hated all around the world. It's trying to clean up that image. It's trying to bring gamers together. They have to do this stuff, people. It's not a form of weakness.
No, this is something that's been going on for a bit. You know, I got to say that I've been first of all, I've been calling this since 2017. When I remember that Phil Spencer went out on stage at one of the E3s and he was talking about his plan, and he literally told everybody to their face what he was going to do, and he said, "First, we're going to do this.
That's right.
Then we're going to do that." And like, he literally spelled out your doom in your face. It's almost like someone came to you and said, "All right, listen, Di-RRec Gaming, listen. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to destroy your bank account.
Right.
And then I'm going to steal your family. Right. And then I'm going to torture you. And then I'm going to do this." And then you laugh at him. And then the guy does it. It does it exactly the way he said it.
Yeah,
that is
in order.
In order. And I remember Phil said the first thing we're going to do is we're going to acquire studios. He literally said that. And this is before they even acquired a single damn studio. He said, we're going to acquire studios, and then we're going to move on to a different publishing arm, and then we're going to be looking into different streaming services, and then we're going to go into the cloud gaming services, and then we're going to go into a game subscription service. He literally said it, and nobody paid attention. Because at that time, it was still a time where Xbox was getting trampled by everything that you would say, everything was said, something said. they just dismissed it immediately because it was Xbox, right? So they didn't listen to it. And the thing is, but I listened to it. And I listened to it. I'm like, this guy is dead serious. And I remember I was talking about this with King David. Shout out to King David. This was like a while ago. I was on Breakfast with Boom, and it was, when was it? I think it was in the fall. And we were talking about that exact same thing. And that's what King David was talking about from ILP. For anybody who doesn't know, anyways, he was talking about that exact same thing. He's like, he literally, when he says something, he literally follows through to the word. Everything that he says he's going to do, he does. And actually, King David was saying, actually, when he was talking to Phil at E3, spoke to him face to face, and he said, when are you going to get a baseball game on Xbox? And he smiled at King and said, we're working on it. Within 2 years, MLB The Show not only ended up on Game Pass, it ended up on Xbox, it ended up on Game Pass on top of it. That's right. So the guy knows what's going on.
You remember he didn't like that.
No, he did not like that.
They went to go get it, and they got denied access. And then it went to PlayStation, and it made it exclusive. And he says, okay, I'll remember that. And he wrote an article, a letter to us and said, I'll make it up to you. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, he's got
that Street Fighter, that next one, baby.
He's got his finger on the pulse of the community. And the thing is, he's not just an executive. This is somebody who actually plays games. And now I've actually, if I may say, even for myself, I've had personal interaction with Phil Spencer. Okay, I've spoken to him, and the thing is, even like the guy when they acquired Activision, he was literally online that night playing Call of Duty. What executive sits around? Do you think like Bobby Kotick sits around and plays Call of Duty? He probably doesn't even know how to turn an Xbox on or a PlayStation. All he knows is money. Right? Fine. That's what he wants to do. Go, Godspeed. But the thing is, Phil is not that guy. Phil is the guy who's playing Destiny in the middle of a board meeting. While they're doing a Zoom meeting, Phil's leaning back playing Destiny with his clan. He's playing Call of Duty.
And the clan is the guy, the developers of Bungie.
That's right. And actually, when Halo came out, myself and three other, not Xbox influencers, the Xbox ambassadors. There was like 4 of us playing, and we invited Phil to a multiplayer Halo, and he actually couldn't make it because he was in the middle of another party, whatever. But the fact that he's that accessible means he knows what the gamers want. That's what I'm getting at, right? So what I'm saying is that the fact that he's there online playing games, not only with just him and his crew or maybe developers or whatever, he's playing with like actual gamers. And so when those gamers are talking, he listens to what they're saying. For example, Randall Thor. Randall Thor is another one. He's a good friend of mine. And Randall Thor is actually good friends with Phil. They talk online all the time. So like whenever they're on Xbox together, sometimes him and Phil just get into a party chat and they just talk or whatever. And then Phil will say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And Rand tells him his feelings. He's like, yeah, I like this. I like that. I didn't like the last presentation you guys did. He's very honest with him, right? And Phil takes it all to heart.
It's good to have that honest discord.
Yes. And the thing is, though, Phil takes it all to heart. I mean, not all of it, obviously, but he takes some of it to heart where he's just like, yeah, you know what? Maybe we could improve this, that, and the other thing or whatever. Whereas other executives like Sony and Nintendo don't care. They don't care. They don't care if you like it. They don't care how much they charge. In the middle of a pandemic,
because they're of that old guard system where you're just a number.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
That's just a number thing? Yeah.
Or the fact that they're still working on an archaic business system, whereas for as an example, you're paying $105 for one game in the middle of a pandemic when people have lost their jobs, people have lost their money, their homes, their businesses, their hours, their whatever. Some of them, people have lost their lives. Let's face it, right? And there's all these things that have been going on down for the last 2 years. And what does Sony do? Instead of saying, "Yeah, we hear you," nope. They raise the prices higher. Is that not a kick in the balls? I'm sorry. I don't understand what kind of a human being would do this to another human being when you know what I'm saying? And Nintendo is exactly the same too. I have no love for Nintendo. I'll tell you that right now. Even though I got 2 Switches and I'll play their games.
Yeah, Nintendo hurt me off, man.
I mean, basically, let's face it.
They hurt me off. Mag, I'm going to tell you what it hurt me. because my oldest daughter, she was naturally a retro gamer. What I mean by that, not old retro, but last gen. She was a 360 fan. She would not leave her 360, right?
Right.
Through 2 generations, she didn't. She just not, because she went that long, I got her a Series S.
Oh, nice.
She's the only child in my house that's next generation with me, right? And so I was getting her. She's a Nintendo fan and an Xbox fan, right? So every Christmas, I would just get her a Nintendo game, or when they would come out with a new console, I would get her one, you know? She never asked for much, so I would always get her that. So I think it was maybe 2 or 3 Christmases ago, I was scrambling around like, she ain't asking for nothing. She never. So I was like, I went up to GameStop, and I was looking for the games, but Nintendo doesn't make games like that. So I basically then ran into a brick wall with them, because she pretty much got all the games.
That's it. Once you get like 5 or 6, that's it. You got everything. That's it.
I was like,
done.
Yeah, I was like, well, let me run back to the house and try to fool her with something later. See if I can get her to say something she's really wanting. So I go back and I ask her, and I've said this before on the show, and I was like, so I was like, is there anything you want? And then I was like, any Nintendo game or anything? She was like, Dad. She was like, no, it was 2 years ago. She was 15. She's 17. That's how I know it's 2 years ago. She was 15 years old, man. And this is what she told me. This is what a 15-year-old girl told me. Looked me dead in my eyes and said, Dad, I don't want you buying another Nintendo game. I said, why? What's going on? You love Nintendo. She was like, because they just keep making the same game. I looked at her. My eyes got, I was like, what? She was like, they keep making the same game for the same system. And this is what she said. It's the same game. You know how kids be, but it's the same game. And
she's not wrong.
And I'm listening to her. For the first time, she sounded like me when I was a kid. She has been observing, right? She has been watching, paying attention. So there's hope in my bloodline. My children aren't just dumb, right? They're not blinded, dumb consumers. They're paying attention. Yeah. But that is not a knock to Nintendo yet, right? It's just something that made me proud about her recognizing that. But being a dad, I didn't care. I just was looking after her having fun. So she breaking it down to me. And she says, Dad, it's just, because they're doing it so much, I'm losing my desire. She says, I'm losing my desire as a gamer for it. So guess what she said? She says, she said, my brothers and sisters, they play on Xbox anyway now, and I'm not there with them. She says, I want that dude. She says, no. She said, I want to go back to my Xbox. I said, but you play on 360. And she says, yeah, I know. She was like, but my oldest son, Nehemiah, has 2 of them. He doesn't use the other one. I was like, yeah, you're right. I gave her the 1S. And man, she got with them. And at first they were looking at her like, you want to play with us now? And then now my kids, they wild out. My youngest one's on Fortnite. He's just ridiculous on Fortnite. At 8 years old, he amazes me how he can build ladders.
Same as my son. He's 9, and he just battle royale or victory royales nonstop.
I have to break him. Get off the game, man, and do something else. But he's into it. My son, he's into the 2K. So he's playing his basketball. He's a basketball nut. And he loves Assassin's Creed. He loves his Gears of War. And he got off Call of Duty. He doesn't even do Call of Duty no more. And now my 2 daughters, guess what they on? It's crazy. They're on Grand Theft Auto 5. And just last night, they was like, get online. I'm finna do a heist. And they'll run in their rooms, man. And I never had that. I had my sister. But like, we had one console. So it was like, when she got done playing, I came in. And just like you said, you was either the gamer or the director.
That's right. Yeah. Well, now it's different. I mean, look at my house, same thing.
Yeah, now they're interacting.
It's great because I have my wife. She plays on her Xbox. I got my son playing on his Xbox. I got my daughter playing on the Switch. I'm playing on Xbox or PlayStation, whatever. And then there's an occasion sometimes. I think it was actually we did play all together. I think it was the Pirates of the Caribbean expansion for Sea of Thieves.
Man,
I'm not really into Sea of Thieves. I'm not really into Sea of Thieves, but that expansion was really good. So I'm like, let's try it out. So like my wife is on one, I'm on the other, my son's on the other, and we're all playing together. We're all like on a ship, and we're shooting at people and doing this and that and the other thing. And I'm just like, never had this. You know what I mean? We never had this as a family. You couldn't do that. Okay, occasionally, like I would play like a 2-player game with like my brother back in the 80s.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You was good.
Yeah, like Ninja Turtles, or our favorite sports game at that time was a Double Dribble, the basketball game for the NES. You remember that one? So Double Dribble for the NES, and then there was Blades of Steel, the hockey game for NES, and we used to play those kind of games, right? And that's it, though. It was 1-1. You wouldn't have this sense of community because, I mean, well, only if people came over or something, right? But if you didn't, you were on your own, right? There was no sense of like this sort of like connectivity that there is now, right? So it's pretty wild. But anyways,
go ahead.
No, sorry. What were you gonna say, brother?
No, I was gonna say, going to what you said, you made me think about Phil Spencer again. When you was talking about him, you know, the one thing that I hold Phil Spencer about with me, the impact that he put on me. I was one of those dudes, man, that was heavy into the console cell war, right? The console cell war. So here I am on Xbox One, man, catching hell, right? We was catching hell. So here I am all dumbed out. Damn, it's 2014. You know, I'm playing Titanfall, but you know, I'm it's bummed out. You know, you seeing all this negative news since the one came out, right?
Yep.
Phil Spencer gets hired in that April. And the very first interview he has, right? He talks about the console sales war. And he was like, you know, one of the first things I'm going to get rid of is the console sales war. He was like, I'm sitting here like, what? Who's this guy? What are you talking about?
What did he say? We're going to stop recording console sales.
Console sale warrior here, bro. It's all about the console sales wars, man. We got to know who's out selling who. What are you talking about, Phil? Right? And he says something that changed me up, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Messed me up, right? He says, you know, as a person that's now running a business, I want to reflect like the intelligence side of it. I don't want to be a leader and have the following community just dumb out here. Like I'm not here to lead a dumb community. I'm here to have a community that understands what's really going on. So he was like, businesses don't talk about console sales. And I'm sitting up here like, what is he talking about? He was like, we don't discuss that because we don't make profit off these things. In a business, you don't talk about what you don't make the profit off of. And I'm sitting here like,
that's right.
This dude's making me mad right now. He's making me mad right now. What are you talking about, Phil? What are you talking about? He's like, yo, we don't talk about it.
You know what he was talking about? He was talking about 10 years from now.
Right.
Because
he kept it real.
They're decade ahead of us. If they're not
talking about it, our community won't be able to talk about it.
Right.
Nobody will be able to talk about it. And man, he meant it. It's just like you said. The guy actually keeps his word. Look, it was killing the articles because they couldn't size up consoles.
You know, the problem is
no more. It's gone so much now, we don't even think about it.
No, because
we don't even think about it no more.
You know, when we recognize a trend, let's say like as consumers, right? When we see a trend or recognize a trend, we see it way too late. So for example, they were talking about, can you believe this? If you think about this, 2013, before Phil Spencer even took over anything. Okay, he was working with Microsoft, but he wasn't like in charge of anything at that time. 2013, they were already talking about cloud gaming. Everybody laughed. They laughed at it. Yes, they laughed and laughed and laughed. The power of the cloud, the power of the cloud. Oh, I guess the power of the cloud really did this, that, and the other thing. Well, guess what? You fast forward 8 years, and everything is on cloud.
That's right.
9 years, actually. Now it's been. Everything is on cloud servers now. And they were 100% right. Or how about this? Here's another one. Everybody laughed at the Kinect for the voice activation and the voice recognition technology. Like what's going on now? So now everybody's like, oh, the government's spying on us. They're there. The FBI is watching me have sex with my wife. They're doing this. They're doing that. They're doing this. You got to cover up your Kinect. What's happening now? Everybody laughed at it 9 years ago. Everybody's going like this. Hey, Alexa, what's a recipe for blueberry pancakes? That's what they're doing now.
You're right. Alexa,
but now they laughed, but now everybody's got one in their house.
Outside.
Right. Right. And everybody's got one in their house now. Or not everybody, but you know what I mean? Like a lot
Alexa,
of people got
be quiet.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
not talking to you. I'm on a show of mad.
Or how about this?
See?
How about your cell phones? They're listening to everything you say. You know, I might talk to you about a pair of pants and be like, "Yeah, listen, I gotta go check it. I gotta go buy a new pair of jeans or something." Right? All of a sudden, you go on Facebook. It's covered in advertisements for jeans.
Yeah,
because they're listening to you. Right? They even know what porn
paying attention to what you're doing. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you like a specific kind of girl or whatever, and you talk about it with your friends, it shows up on your recommended list on Pornhub, for Christ's sake. And they were talking about the Kinect being a problem. Guys, the point of the story is that Microsoft is always a decade ahead of what you're thinking.
They're ahead, man.
So when they say a little beep of something, it may not happen now, but it'll happen in 2032.
It's so substantial that's that brick wall.
By the way, did you know that
you are now in a reign era of Xbox? I know some of y'all that may not like Xbox, but now you're gonna have to get used to it for some years because the new technology is gonna come through Xbox. It's
by the way,
manifest itself through Xbox and only Xbox. Listen,
I got some news for you that most people don't know. And this is good for this show. Actually, you know what? You could say that this is the only show that I know that's talking about it because nobody really knows about it. I know about it is that Xbox is already working on the next gen console. And it's already
Keystone, right?
It's called Keystone. That is
correct.
Makes
you think of a beer.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like it's like Keystone Light.
Crack a Keystone for me, man.
So it is that's what they're working on. Keystone is the next gen Xbox. So that will probably come out in 2026 or 27. So we got about 5 more years. The reason why is because they haven't really done much with the RDNA 2 yet and whatever else. They'll unlock more of that as they go along. My guess is 2027. But anyways, so you know what I'm saying? So like they're already constantly working on what's next. But here's the thing though. Now, here's something that's very important for us, you, myself, and everybody in the chat. Let me tell you something. They are not marketing to us anymore. We don't matter. We have money because we're older. We have jobs, whatever. We have a little bit more money than like kids do. But let's face it, guys. They're not marketing to us anymore.
No,
they're marketing to your kids because I am not going to be a paying consumer in 25 years. My kids will. In 25 years, I'll be lucky if I'll be getting oatmeal in a retirement home. So, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. Or maybe this, the country won't even be here in 25 years. Who the hell knows? The point is, our kids will be here, and they will be the ones spending money. That's how far ahead they're thinking. Man.
Real quick, hold on to that thought, but I want to stop you right there. That's why I salute guys like you, Fireballs, my big brother, old school, on Twitter. Guys like you who got some age on you, who don't act silly on social network, who don't act stupid on social networks, who don't compromise their integrity for the sake of you young OGs out here. Look, somebody has to show you how to act. It's not a cool thing. It's a responsibility thing, people. You play around and then life hits you, right? Mm-hmm. And then when life hits you, you got to deal with that. Don't take your life for granted. We're on social media. We're on here. We're on YouTube channels and stuff. But understand this reality. We're getting older. Nobody's getting younger. All of us are getting older. Sometimes just be thankful about your life. Sometimes be thankful about what you have, who's around you. And don't take that for granted because you can wake up one day needing somebody to help you. You can wake up someday up in that hospital. You may not wake up. It's important for the people who are older. Look, but it's the people who are older to set a decent example. I didn't say the best example. I said a decent one. Man can come up here and have his fun. But you don't see Mag out here acting all silly.
No.
Fireballs comes up on the show, has his fun. You don't see Fireballs acting all silly. My brother Old School, you don't see him acting all silly. Because they understand there's a responsibility at hand as well. That's why I saluted you when you wasn't ashamed of having your wife in your video. We can hear her. To me, that's beautiful to me. That's positive. That's stuff that people look down on. You know, if my son ran up in here right now, jumped in my lap, hey, Dad, and I had to tell him I'm doing a show. But I would never tell my children, you can't come in here because I'm doing a show. These are the people I'm around all the time. These are the people I love all the time. This show is great. You know, I love each and every one of y'all, but y'all ain't my kids. Y'all aren't the people that I take care of, that I provide for. So the show will never go above them. But and then in retrospect, they understand that I'm doing this show. They understand that, so they ain't busting up in here anyway. But if he's done it, he does it. I don't tell him, "Oh, whoop you." You know, it's just not that serious to me.
Yeah.
None of this stuff is. It's fun. A lot of people you don't know. You can't seriously hate somebody. You got people on here that literally hate somebody. You don't know them. This is just the click community. It's just click, tap, 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 tap. I make you mad. I trigger you. Your feelings are hurt. Come on, y'all. We're in this gaming community to have some fun.
That's why I told you.
We poke because that's an old tradition. But
that's what I was saying at the beginning of the show.
We don't have no place for that.
I don't engage in that kind of stuff. Like I will, like when I do a video or whatever, right? I'll do those videos and I poke fun at things. Like actually, I yesterday I did after the Sony State of Play. I actually I put up a Twitter poll of all the fake games that all these fake Sony insiders keep saying are coming.
Oh my god!
And every time there's a State of Play, they're like, "Just so you know, Metal Gear Solid Remake is being announced." And then all of a sudden, the next State of Play, they're like, "Just so you know, Dino Crisis Remake is being announced." So what I did is I compiled all their complete L's that they've taken, and I put it all in a category. I go, what are you most excited to play after this State of Play? And it's a joke. I just put it up as a joke, and I put all those games as a category. A lot of people laughed or whatever. And then you get a couple of those guys who get, here's the thing. And then you get somebody who does get a little bit too much in their feels, and they get a little bit too upset or whatever, right? So what I do is I don't engage. Right. I don't fight. I don't sit there and go, nah, you should do this. Nah, shut up. Why don't you get that? Blah, blah, blah. This, that. I don't do any of that. I'm just like, listen, man, here's the joke. Take it or leave it. And that's all there is to it. If you want to talk to me like a regular person, go right ahead. I said, but if you're going to get toxic, I still won't block you. I just won't engage with you. That's all. I've had people in live chats where I've let me tell you something. I've been in the Lion's Den a few times with a couple of shows. Like, do you know Mooch? And
yes.
Okay, and Crossfire.
Yeah, I heard of Mooch before.
Okay, I've been on Crossfire before. A lot of his listeners do not like me. And they don't like me not because they don't like me, is because they don't like what I say. Because a lot of things that what I say don't line up with their narratives. Because there's a lot of toxic Sony guys in the chat. And Mooch and I are actually good friends. And a lot of those guys on the even Crap Gamer, if you can believe it, Crap Gamer and I actually are, we're pretty amicable with each other. We follow each other. We talk once in a while. And like whatever. I don't get involved in his videos because a lot of his stuff is clickbait, and that's what he does. That's his thing, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever. But the chat, they don't like. A lot of them don't like me. Get Mag off the show. I hate you. I can't even repeat half the stuff that they say. But the thing is, I don't care. I'm just like, yeah, cool, man. You're free to feel however you want. That's fine, And what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? What are you gonna do? You get all upset about it? Jago 6,
not there because you're not there for that, and that's what they don't understand.
No, I'm not there for that. A lot of them
are kids, man. That's kid mentality. I would hate to find out that the people that are acting like that are grown people, like really grown people. That then our community is messed up if it really is. I can understand if it's some kids. Okay, I get you.
No,
kids,
you know what it is? Let me tell you something. It's not. It's people look. I already know what it is because it's the same as anything else on social media. And I actually feel pity for a lot of it. And I'm not even kidding. I feel pity for some of them because you know what it is at the end of the day? A lot of them, if you really look past all the crap and you swim through all the garbage and all the toxicness and whatever else, you actually find a normal person in there. But the problem is that they're lonely, and a lot of them are seeking attention.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will lash out to seek attention. It's just like, have you seen like when you get kids who've been neglected by their parents and they lash out and they start they throw temper tantrums and they act
go to
out.
school and they're always getting sent to the detention center.
Right. Or then they go to the mall and they start robbing the mall. They start robbing stuff from the mall and they get arrested, or they start smashing windows at the local whatever. They're doing that not because they want to do that. They do. Judah, stop right now, please.
See,
Judah, you know the thing is,
shows violence. See that? You know what I'm saying?
That's really funny, Jim. That's a really funny picture, though. The thing is, they're seeking attention, and they want attention because they're not getting attention. Maybe they didn't get it when they were growing up. They had neglectful parents. They didn't have friends. Maybe they were outcasts because remember in those days, a lot of people in those days. We were nerds for liking video games.
Bro, we were looked down upon. You was a gamer. You had no girlfriend.
Yeah,
you didn't like,
and you did not bust out a PlayStation 1 on a date, because then you weren't getting anything from her.
Nothing.
She would dry up like the Sahara Desert if you pulled out a PlayStation, say like, "Hey, check out this," it'd be like done. Right? So forget it. So it would never happen. But here's the thing. Maybe that's what boils down to. That maybe these guys were like, extra nerdy, extra lonely, didn't have a lot of friends. Maybe they were not attractive. Maybe they're incels. Maybe they couldn't get any women or men in their life, whatever they're into. Their parents didn't really give a shit about them, whatever. All these different kind of things. And then what ends up happening is that you become a grown-ass man. And then guess what happens? Now you're seeking attention from people who are complete strangers.
Yeah. Now I get mad at complete strangers.
Everybody do it to get attention because they never get it.
Right. I get on the internet and I just text ferociously. I got blisters. If you see these dudes, man, or these girls, these guys and these girls, they got blisters on their thumbnails.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine like how furious they type sometimes? I wonder how some people, I've actually said that to somebody once. I said, I feel sorry for your phone because I just get this vibe that you're punching the phone as you're texting me.
Abusing devices. There's devices out here that are abused, man.
I really feel that,
Yeah. Jago, I played video games throughout my entire life. However, you must prioritize real life over. That's it, man. If you don't know how to do that, there's no talking to me. Look, I have fun. Listen, that's why I throw my little carrot emojis and my little haystack emojis. The back and forth, I realize it's just some people out here that are hurt. It's like you said, some people out here that are lonely, and they're going to get mad. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to just say something positive about Xbox is what I've learned throughout my forensic scientific investigations is you just say something positive about Xbox. And man, you got to watch out for a stampede. You literally got to watch out for a stampede.
Have you noticed, by the way, can I ask you a question? Have you noticed that that's actually diminished quite a bit?
It has.
It's actually died down quite a bit where you say something positive and you're just waiting for that. Just like you said,
it doesn't happen as much now.
And now you might get one guy or maybe two guys that
still holding on to it. Yeah.
And you're looking around and you're like, where'd everybody else go? Because you're so used to it. We've been conditioned. You know what it's like? It's like what the hell is it called? Someone in the chat help me out. You know when you're a hostage, and then you've been a hostage for so long that you actually start to develop a relationship with the people that are holding you hostage. I can't remember what the hell that's called. There's a term for it. There's a term for it, and you actually become friends with them. What's that?
Yeah, you become friends with them.
You become friends with them, and then. Yeah, and it's like, and I can't remember what the hell it's called, but Stockholm Syndrome, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Stockholm Syndrome. So we have, as Xbox fans, we've had this Stockholm Syndrome that we're so used to. You say one positive thing, and you're going to get trampled by 100 people. And now it doesn't happen. And the reason why it doesn't happen is because people are coming around. Mm-hmm. And that's where this whole conversation is going. Let's face it, folks, this conversation is going right back to where we started with this whole thing, is that it's disappearing. They've changed the narrative. They've been ticking off boxes since 2017, one by one, ticking off all those boxes. And now look at us now. And now just as the heading in this title says, Microsoft is Metacritic's highest rated publisher in 2021.
Who would have ever known that to happen?
And now,
who would have ever known?
Well, I knew. I called it back in 2020. If anybody ever listens to the old shows and the shows that I was on with Mr. Boomstick XL, okay, and all these other shows.
Shout out to Boomstick.
Yep, and I've been saying it from day one. That I said from when I started doing the YouTube game. I've been doing it saying the day one. I said Xbox. I said give them 2 years. Not even. And actually, you know what? They did it in 1 year. I said give them 2 years, and they're going to start winning awards. And I said honestly, within 5 years, they're going to dominate Game of the Year conversations unless it's third-party games. For example, Elden Ring. I'm sorry, Elden Ring. Even if it deserves it, doesn't deserve it. However you feel about it, I'm playing it. I got 40 hours in.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
I'm playing it too.
Here's the thing. It's still going to win Game of the Year, no matter what. I don't care if Ragnarok comes out, God of War. When Starfield comes out, all these games are not going to win Game of the Year. It's just not going to happen. Elden Ring has taken the entire mind share of the community. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I did say that what was going to happen is that Xbox is going to start winning Game of the Year, or start winning awards, and within 5 years, they will have Game of the Year winners consistently. And guess what? It's going to happen. It may not happen this year. Maybe.
Here's the thing, man. No, it's going to happen this year. It's just going to happen on a different platforms. Yeah. See, everybody, man, you nailed it. I said it too, because I said what's going to end up happening is Xbox is going to dominate the best value. The media, and you know this, man, commercializing. Yep. Nothing commercializing at a high point is going to commercialize the weaker thing. No. The industry doesn't do that. The industry acknowledges the best thing, and that's what it pushes for. All Microsoft had to do was get back to basics. We as Xbox fans knew this. What in the world are they doing? Compromising power for gameplay with the Xbox One. What are they doing? The Kinect should never have to compromise the integrity of the console, right? So the Series X and the Series X was made, and there's no compromising it.
No.
These are super intelligent, well-designed, engineered consoles.
They're full of horsepower.
Everything. Nothing is off.
No.
And the GPU and the CPU are twins. You're like, wait a minute. This is what gets on my nerves, man. And it's obvious, right? It's known now. I think another reason why things are quiet is because everything a lot of the real Xbox fans have said are now true, and it's like it's undeniable.
It's undeniable. That's the thing.
It's
when
undeniable.
Metacritic comes out and says what they said,
I hit you up, Sick. Don't start.
Hey, Six Slayer, what's up?
Yeah, look. I just figured, Sick, you had something to do. You got caught up or something.
Yeah, I know Six Slayer. I've seen him in plenty of our chats. How's that going,
shout out to Sick. He's gonna give me hell tomorrow, but I love him. But he can't say I didn't call him. Don't shoot me. But one thing that gets me, and I'm gonna use Six Slayer again for this, because he the one that brought it to my attention when he said it to me. The Xbox community doesn't even know. Yes, I did. Don't listen. Don't make me put the phone up here and show you. I don't want to embarrass you like that. You're my homie. I did. And as a matter of fact, I'll wait till after the show, take a picture of it, and then you'll give me my flowers. Look, he's mad. I told you. He's going to be mad. He's going to hit me up. But I called him. Oh, my God. Okay, I'm going to send you the picture after this show. I'm going to send it to you. I want all my apologies, and I want all my flowers when I do. Look, but he said the Xbox community doesn't even know it's won, right? Because it doesn't matter if me, Mag, or anybody in the chit chat community says it. We're considered the nobodies, right? Mm-hmm. Regardless if we telling them the truth, we're the nobodies. Well, who cares what those dudes say, right? Because Kotaku ain't said it, IGN hasn't said it.
That's right.
Or a top YouTuber hasn't said it, right? Because they think in our gaming community, they think that nobody else can think. We all have to be followers, and that's not the case, right? But Microsoft did something that was incredible because they realized in order for us to get recognition, we have to live up to who we are. We're Microsoft. There's no reason why we can't have a console that reflects who we are as a company and a brand, right? Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that what you was talking about earlier, Phil Spencer said. That was part of the reconstruction to get the brand back of Xbox. Remember, he said that.
Yeah, he said that. He's resurrecting it, basically.
Basically. So now these two consoles are undeniable, what they can do. There's no refuting it. Here's the problem, man. We don't have an industry that likes it. So therefore, we as a community, the reason why the Xbox community looks so together is because that's all we have is each other. We don't have articles where we can just go to, even like articles like Pure Xbox. They write the article like my Channel 3 News. And that's not a knock against them, but we're waiting on somebody to act like they're real fans. Yeah. We don't need no more double agents, right? I don't need people that are great talkers and they consider themselves great critiquers so that you consider them real. I don't care. That's not a knock to Randall Thor, right? That's not a knock to him. But I don't care about criticism. What the Xbox community needs are fans. We need somebody that sounds like us, looks like us, right? Benny Central, he's the closest thing that I can see, but he's over in the UK. This dude came out of Call of Duty, the #1 in the world, right? He works with Xbox, been there for 7 years. But we don't ever see the guy.
No, you don't.
He's the closest thing we got, but yet he's awesome to me. He should be the one out here. They should make him the guy. We need that guy and that girl. That would be nice to have a guy and a girl to represent both cultures of the gaming community, right? The females and the male side, and have them excited. Every time we get a show, what's one of the things? These people don't look excited.
Yeah.
As if they don't know how to be. But yet you come down here to us and all you see is excitement.
Well, you know what it is? It's not even just excitement, it's passion. It's passion for what it's passion for. You know what I'm saying?
I was just going to say it. When I look at your videos, I see passion.
It's passion. It's something that we enjoy, something we love.
Videos. It ain't just because they're funny. Anybody can make funny videos. But this dude does his homework. If you've been on Twitter all day and you see a mag video, you know the guy has been paying attention to what's been said, and he makes the parody. So you respect that because you know the guy had to be paying attention today. It's like Microsoft. Everybody here doesn't give off a bad vibe. You was naming people today that I've never spoke to, right? Some I know, but some I've never spoke to, right? Yeah. But to think I don't like them as a person because I've never met them is ridiculous. If you go to E3 people, you're going to meet some of these people that you thought are not who you thought. And you're going to realize you can talk to them. Because like we said, this is social media. Yeah. This is a playground. Remember, this is like a playground. This isn't their home or this isn't their car. This isn't their job. It's a playground. You get in here and have a little fun. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. I see that Xbox is almost there when I'm talking about that face. It's almost there. It's almost there. And if it ever happens, the community is going to light up. This is why we loved Upload Studios. Because we literally saw people like us, gamers. And we get on our Xbox and we was excited. You know, when we saw the little videos and things and the community coming together, the top 10, hell yeah, man. This is what Xbox is about.
That's how I started this whole thing. I started making little clips on the Upload Studio. And I used to do, remember you could do voiceovers too?
Right. Exactly.
So you could do voiceovers. I started doing voiceover on that stuff because I didn't have a PC powerful enough to be able to do. I know I could see. Is it Six Slayer?
Thank you. What's the first name on there? Look at the time. I was even on time. Now stop it. 7:04. I had a spam call at 8:19, but 7:04. Stop it.
So yeah. So the thing is that at the end of the day, when it all comes down to it, you look at what's going on, you look at what's happening, it's all coming together more and more and more. Now, right now, things are a little bit quiet, except for this Metacritic situation when they got Publisher of the Year. That's amazing. The thing is, I find that the way that Phil operates, and I know how he operates, and I've spoken to him, and the thing is, he operates very quietly. He's not like, how, like, if they, okay, for example, let me put it in perspective. If Sony won Publisher of the Year 2021, they would not only put a banner up, they would smash you in the face with that banner. And then while you're on the ground, they would beat you to death with that banner that says Publisher Game of the Year. And they would beat their chest like they just won the Super Bowl. Okay, they'd be dancing in front of the camera, doing all this and flipping their hair and going nuts and throwing stuff into the crowd and kissing babies and whatever, right? They would be doing all that stuff.
Putting Xbox towels around the babies.
Oh, and then they would, and then they would take a shot at Xbox or Nintendo or whatever. Generally, it's Xbox. They usually don't go after their own. But here's the thing. Microsoft is going away from that image because you remember, just like you said, actually, about half hour ago, you're talking about how Microsoft has been working for many years now to get rid of that image of being that big evil conglomerate that they were in the 90s. Because if you remember in the 90s, people hated Microsoft, even though they all used Microsoft, but they felt like they didn't have a choice. So it felt like they were basically just they basically handcuffed the entire planet into using Windows. And everybody hated them for it, right? And so the thing is now, they've been fighting against that image for 20 plus years, if you could believe it. It's been that long since like the Windows 98 days and the Windows 94 days, whatever. And that's when, Bill Gates basically ruled the planet and people hated them for that. It's really hard to shake that stigma of what they used to be. Now, the thing is, and then basically being very ruthless, right? But under Satya Nadella, the thing is with him is that he basically still rules the planet. Okay, they're the richest company in the world. However, they do so in a much more grounded fashion. So what's happening now, that's bled into the Xbox camp, right? Where they do the same thing. They just won Publisher of the Year, and no one's coming out and talking about it, not even the executives at Xbox.
That's it.
They said thank you. They said thank you very humbly, and they just went, thank you very much. It's quite an honor to get that award. And they moved on. They didn't stick it in your face. They didn't stick it in Sony's face. They didn't go, look at us, you guys suck, we're the best, whatever. They didn't do any of that. They didn't put banners all over New York City or whatever the hell, Sony does when they release Spider-Man. They put webs all over the goddamn subways and all this, whatever, right? They do all this stupid stuff. Well, they don't do that.
They don't do that.
They just humbly took it like a monk, like a kung fu master. They're just like, thank you very much. We will continue to work hard for you guys. And they walked away. And
because you know what, man? The meek shall inherit the earth.
Yes.
That's what
that's some Jedi stuff right there.
That's
like it's
Jedi
just like
stuff.
This cool, calm samurai kung fu dude walking through.
Want to talk about respect and dignity? You get a guy that wins a lifetime achievement award, and the number one thing, two things he's talking about is respect and dignity. Like, dude,
he talked about respect and dignity for people in the business. He talked about equality between not only just race but also gender. He talked about women. He talked about all kinds of stuff. And
wow,
see,
that you said that. And listen, wow that you said that, because we have a situation again going on, right? Men get harassed, all right? But women the harassment of women is famous. It's more famous. Let's put it like that. That's so I don't want to make it seem like men don't get harassed, right? Or it doesn't exist. But I'm just saying what's famous is the sexual harassment towards women, okay? And it goes back to what you said because of the gender inequality, right? But we have a situation going on right now with Sony where 3 more women have stepped up?
Yes, I've been hearing about that. No, it's up to 8 now.
8 women. 8 women. And guess what? Look. 8 women.
Bro.
8. Look.
Just finish what you're saying. Finish what you're saying, man.
8 women, right? And nobody. And I want you to take the mic, Sick, on this one.
Oh no.
And Mag and Sick. The one that I would have never thought. See, this is when you kind of think, what the hell is up with our industry? Why is it so hard to figure it out? Are they playing games with us? Because the one that I thought would not ever speak on it said something. And I'm mind-bogged, right? I'm like, what the hell? Kotaku.
Oh, okay.
Out of all the damn gaming media sources out there, they put it out there. Yep. And there was a guy, you know what? And I'm gonna represent him just like I said I was.
Luke Plunkett, or you mean the guy from Twitter? Or the dude from Twitter?
The dude from Twitter, what's his name?
I'm looking up right now because I commented on his thing because he posted this hours ago.
Thank you. Give me his name. Because Mag, I'm not lying.
And no one noticed.
He puts it up on Twitter, right? Nobody has commented on his page. Not one soul. And I come across it, I said something. And
his name is
reply,
Cuba Miss Prime.
Dude, are you serious? Am I the first person to reply on this post? Am I the very first one? You know what he said to me? He says, man, I guess I just don't have a lot of followers. And I said, nah, that's BS, bro.
His name is Cuba Miss Prime.
The talk on it is because you was brave enough to put it out here, and everybody wants to fly over it every single time. But I tell you what I do know, y'all, and that's everybody here. Here's what I do know. Let that be somebody at a Microsoft.
Mm-hmm. Jago, in case you're wondering what's going on, apparently there's more and more women are coming out and talking about not only just inequality in the workplace, but they're also talking about sexual harassment and all this kind of stuff. And the thing is, I think that working for a company as powerful as Sony and whatever, and then certain hey, let's face it, I'm going to call a spade a spade. When it comes to the Asian culture, generally speaking, when I'm talking the Japanese and the Chinese, I'm treading on thin ice here, folks. But at the same time, I've heard a lot of stories.
I'll say it for you if you're still scared.
Yeah,
women are more subservient over there.
Much more subservient. Yeah. And so the thing is that doesn't translate well with the rest of the world. So, for example, if you have a Japanese culture business where, like, basically when what the man says goes, that doesn't translate too well with North America and Europe, right? Because they don't look at it the same way. You look at the situation. Okay, here's another example. And this is a fatal flaw for a company like Sony, okay? You look at like a black woman like Sarah Bond would never, ever have that kind of power at Sony. But here's the thing. They gave her that power at Xbox, and what is she now? She is the reason why we cheer in the streets every week on Game Pass is because that woman makes it happen.
She's making all the deals. She
makes it happen. She wheels all those deals. You realize I saved $50 because Guardians of the Galaxy is on Game Pass right now? Do you know how that makes me feel? That makes me feel, and I'm like, and you know what? Every time it happens, and I by the way, I've also spoken to Sarah Bond. She is a delight to speak to. And
you spoke to the Sarah Bond before me?
The Sarah Bond. You see how he says this? The Sarah Bond.
Dude, I'm not kidding with you. When I speak to all these people, I've spoken to Phil Spencer, I've spoken to Sarah Bond, okay? Aaron Greenberg, like these guys, like we talked to, and of course Boomstick XL. He had what's it called? Oh my God, I can't remember his damn name. The guy with the white gloves. I always forget his damn name.
Oh, yeah, I forget his name too.
Let me tell
you know what I'm talking about, right? But anyways,
my two buddies. It's true. My two buddies. I love Kate Yeager. That's my buddy, and Aaron Greenberg. That's my buddy. But you're right, man.
But here's the thing. Sony would not have given
Sarah Bond. I'm jealous, bro.
She's amazing. She's an amazing person. Now, and so professional, but at the same time, but so friendly and so down to earth. She will speak to you like she's known you for 10 years. It's unbelievable. And the thing is, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I reached out. I reached out to her and I said thank you about something. I remember what it was. There was a couple of indie games that came out in the summer from different countries of the world. It wasn't just Jago. That's funny.
That's dope.
It was a couple indie games from different countries, and I actually reached out to her and I said, "Hey, listen, I played one of the games was from India. It was absolutely amazing. Can't remember the damn name. It's gonna drive me nuts. It was a great like a 3D platformer kind of like adventure, like almost like a Prince of Persia kind of game. And anyways, I reached out to her and there was a couple other games from other. I'm like, thank you for exposing us to not only these, very unique like indie games, but exposing us to these very unique indie games from other countries, showing us their culture. For some people who don't know their cultures, they got to experience some of the cultures of those countries through those games, because a lot of the games had like one of that game in particular had a lot of Indian culture in it, music, some of their like folklore stuff like that. And I learned all that stuff playing that game. Now I have Indian friends, but they don't tell me all their culture. They don't tell me about
like
Shiva.
That little Alaskan game where you was that little girl on her little wolf.
Yeah. That's right. That was done by Canadian Inuits.
Yeah, the Eskimos.
Yeah. They were up north,
right.
and that was from Canada. And who the hell knew that they slept in the snow?
At the end of the game sounded like he said, "Why is your lips so black?" My daughters would laugh at it because it was it's black people joke.
Raji,
so black, but it wasn't.
Raji, yes.
Raji
I know this name.
Sorry, I just remembered it.
There you go.
Raji.
What Mag is the name of the Indian game. So, anyways, I reached out to Sarah Bond and I said, "Thank you for bringing, some of these games and all these other cultures to our attention, because without Game Pass, we never would have bought these games. We never would have seen them." And funny enough, I actually reached out not only to the developers of Raji, I reached out to the head of the studio. The head of the studio and Sarah Bond both personally got back to me and said thank you. I was blown away, but like all these people from India were like, "Hey, thank you so much for spreading the word on our game and this and that. It's an absolute honor and this." Cool. And I'm like, "This is incredible." Then Sarah Bond saw that, and then she got a hold of me and talked to me and said thank you and whatever else, right? Anyways, the point is, ignoring all that, that self-fluff there. The point
I'm jealous.
is that but here's the thing. With this whole Sony situation and the way that their culture runs, okay? Sarah Bond would work there 100%. They'd hire her, but do you think they'd ever put her in charge of anything? Not a goddamn chance they would ever do that. And you know why? It's a damn shame, because you know what? You don't realize someone's potential until you put them in a position where they have a chance to perform. And they put Sarah Bond a chance to perform in a company like Microsoft. Well, guess what? Mark my words, and you could cut this. You could save this for another time. I'm telling you right now that when Phil Spencer retires, she's taking over as CEO of Xbox.
Oh, yeah. She's definitely the heir apparent. Clearly.
She is the heir apparent of Xbox. She will be the CEO by 2030 when Phil retires.
Oh, definitely. I think that's been the plan all along.
Right?
But,
and I couldn't think of a better person to do it. Right?
But back to the thing that Liga was talking about there. I saw it on...
I'm loving the Xbox hats, guys.
Hey, AfterBuzz.
Always with the Xbox headphones.
Everybody's dope tonight.
Of course. But I'd seen the headline last night. I don't remember because it was right before I went to sleep. I closed my tablet. I tossed it to the side. I went to sleep. But I did see that headline just before I closed my eyes last night. And by the time I woke up, I had completely forgotten until I saw what you responded to on Twitter, right? And I'm like, oh snap! I did see this, and that's exactly what I commented. But here's the thing about it. Nobody's talking about this at all. Just like nobody's talking about that he wasn't CEO. He was a VP of something in PlayStation, I believe. Right? And Sony fired him by that Monday morning. All weekend long, gamers were asking all over social media, how come nobody in the press is talking about this, right? Nobody talked about it, not Kotaku or anybody. Nobody talked about it. Monday morning, this guy is canned.
Yeah.
8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time. Okay?
Dude.
And as far as I know, Sony's out there in the West Coast in the United States now. Right. So,
dude, the Japanese culture, they sweep you under the rug faster than like quick. They want it out of the public eye. Right. Because there's one thing about that culture I do know very well is that they do not like outward public knowledge about what's going on. And so what they do is that when things like that go on, they make it disappear so fast Okay, it's like someone with COVID in North Korea. You're gone in like 3 hours. A white bus picks you up, and then that's it. You'll never see them again. That's how they operate. The same thing with the Japanese. They don't mess around.
Yeah,
it's all about public appearance and their honor and all that stuff, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
the honor.
And that's why this story.
Mm-hmm.
This story. No, but here's the thing, though. This story may not disappear. Because the thing is, because of the narrative that's going out there, and I'm
exactly, it's the optics of it more than the facts.
Especially with Activision and that whole thing last year, and Ubisoft is going through it right now. You see all the stuff going on at Ubisoft right now. Same deal, right? And now you've got the Sony situation going on. You've got this acquisition thing going on. You got people getting looked into, the Bobby Kotick situation. It's all out there. And then you look at regular news, okay? Look at the regular news that's going out there. Ron Jeremy got arrested for assaulting 20 women. Can you imagine this guy? This guy's a porn star and he's still assaulting women. What's the matter with you?
Part of the
and then you've got the Bill Cosby thing. Guilty or not guilty, it doesn't matter. The point is it's in the news. So the thing is, it's going to be impossible for Sony to just push this under the rug and just pretend it didn't happen. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, because that's twofold. Because with this original situation with this VP or whatever, he was caught by a group that had done this over like 150 times or something like that. Maybe I'm off on the numbers, but well over 100 times. This is a group that has done this all the time. So even the first couple of times, they catch somebody on camera, but the evidence wasn't captured in such a manner where they could use it legally, right? They've done this well over 100 times. At this point now, they know what they're doing. If they catch this dude on camera and they lured him in, which is exactly what they did, they know how to do it so it could be used against this person in the court of law. We haven't heard anything about this dude ever since he's been fired. He just vanished off the face of the planet.
Yep. Probably dead, for all you know.
I hope so, frankly, because according to what he's been up to,
that's crazy.
No, for real, bro.
No sympathy for me, dude.
They got him on record.
Yeah, they got him on record.
Talking, bro. He was saying to a 15-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude.
And I must repeat the importance of this. Caught by a group, that's all they do, and they've done it many times in the past. So maybe the first couple of times they screwed up. By this point, they've mastered the art of doing this. To only catch the guy and get the evidence.
Do you know what that company is from? They're actually from here, Toronto, from where I'm from.
Right. And you know what? Real quick. Yep. They figured out the cesspool to get into. Mm-hmm. And they put their little code names in and they get to talking.
Right. They know the whole system.
One of these weirdos.
They're actually from like their office is like 45 minutes from my house. They actually work they work across the entire planet. No joke.
Yeah.
And they literally have a network across the entire planet to catch these clowns.
Yeah, all the time.
And they put them in these situations, whatever else. They even solve cases that have been been cold cases for 20 years, and they reconstruct photos and stuff like that. It's unbelievable what
these guys are masters at it. Yeah. So the question becomes,
God's work, man.
Where'd this guy go? Where'd this guy go? Why is he not charged with anything? Why is this not all over the news? Right? You can't find this guy anywhere. And so
what do you think about the Kotaku thing?
Right. So okay, my point to bringing all that up is I'm 50-50 with what Matt just said about this might get pushed under the rug or it might not. I'm 50-50 on it because Kotaku, of all people, who love to get into the rah-rah with the drama, especially you remember Jason Scribe, whatever you want to say about him, and I have no love for that dude, but as a journalist, he has the ability to do that function very well. It's what he does with the knowledge after the fact that I have issue with, and he used to be at Kotaku. Now, he's not there anymore. He works for Bloomberg now, right? But Luke Plunkett or whatever his name is, he's pretty good too. He must have learned a lot from Jason. So Kotaku, which is this is all they do nowadays. Whenever you read an article from Kotaku, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Because here we go again with Kotaku. But still,
the National Enquirer of
the
video
game like some kind of rag, right? But you would think still they have a big enough name that if they report on something like this, it will be all over the place. But it's not. So I'm 50-50 with it because it's kind of odd, but I really don't see anybody talking about it. So,
it's crazy because I have to give respect to Kotaku.
Mm-hmm. This one time, because I have no respect for Kotaku, but this one time they did their job and nobody's paying attention. It just goes to show.
You know what though? This might be one of those situations where the snowball turns into an avalanche. So maybe it's just like quiet right now, but there are people out there who are not going to let this kind of stuff go. Right? So I think I think that they'll keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And if they don't, then that's pretty nefarious on Sony's part, because that sounds to me like they're trying to push it under the rug when they definitely shouldn't be.
Yeah,
they should be front and center about it. But let's see what happens. I mean, give it a couple. What is it, Thursday now? They're not going to do anything on a Friday. So let's say by Monday. They don't say anything by Monday, then you know that these guys are snakes.
We'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll bring it up. Now, I got a question for you two. And I don't care who goes first on it, but I you know me, man. What is y'all's take on state of play, and why the hell does Sony keep doing this? Yeah,
let me just do this right now.
Go ahead.
Dude, sorry, I'm gonna be very quick.
Hold on.
Let me tell you something.
No, hold on. This one. You know what? Let me find it. Oh man, I hope I. Oh man,
what is he doing?
Legal.
Because Tech misspelled Astros, so now he must be looking for Astros hat.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh,
good.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we got to break out a Yankees cap, piss both of you off. Okay.
Wow.
So
let me tell you something about that state of play.
That's crazy.
First of all, Sony said from the beginning that they were going to be featuring. This is not Sony's fault, okay? It's not Sony's fault.
It's really not.
Sony really came out and said, we're going to be featuring some of our Japanese studios and Japanese work and Japanese games. This wasn't about God of War. This wasn't about Metal Gear Solid Remake. This wasn't. And as soon as they said Japanese, was it nice? I love that. As soon as they said Japanese, everybody started going right away. They're like, oh, it's the Silent Hill remake. No, it's not. No, it's not. It was never going to be. This shit doesn't exist. Okay? It doesn't exist. And if it does, it's not going to be for several years. So relax yourself. So the point is, guys, they came out and told you exactly what it was. You know what it is to me? This state of play reminded me of when Xbox used to do, what the hell was that Xbox?
Xbox Insider?
Insider, yeah. And then what did they say every show? Greeny used to have to come out and say, guys, temper your expectations. This isn't E3.
People are hard-headed. Yeah, they really are.
And then they go in, and then they see it's not E3, and then they get pissed off. And I'm like, guys, he literally said 10 minutes before the show, it's not E3. It's just a little showcase of whatever, right? And so it's like the same thing with Sony's state of play. The reason why people are blowing up, or they're putting so much emphasis on these state of plays, is because Sony hasn't shown squat since the launch of the PS5, other than the one or two games they release a year, and they have zero momentum. They have no traction this generation, and they do not have, I don't care what anybody says, they do not have the public mind share. Xbox has stolen the mind share this entire generation. Therefore, that's why people are putting so much emphasis on these state of plays. They're like, oh my God, Sony's got to do something now. And they keep not doing it because they don't have the traction. And that's what the problem is. When you release one game and then another game 8 months later, and you have nothing in between, and you have no game subscription service that's worth any salt, there's a problem. And therefore, you're not holding the attention span of the gaming community at large. That is the problem. But anyways, that's just me. Listen, guys, I got to tell you, I got to bow out of here pretty quick, because I got to make calls for work before I go to bed.
Man.
It's good having you. Well, you should take the mask off so you can hear you.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Now, Max,
yes.
He came in, did his thing. Yo.
Shit, that was almost 2 hours. You realize that?
You can't even see this. You can play some of this later on.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Grand Theft Auto.
State of play was amazing.
Look.
And the PlayStation shirt on and everything. I love it.
This dude right here, man, is a real PlayStation fan right there.
You know,
real
state
gamer.
of play was amazing. You guys can't handle the awesomeness that was state of play.
You know what's funny? Actually, I actually liked it. But what I actually enjoyed was everybody else's reaction, because they realized it wasn't a Dino Crisis remake / Silent Hill remake / Metal Gear Solid remake. And I'm like, guys, Why is it
Teenage
every time
Mutant
that
Ninja
Sony
Turtles
does a state of
collection? I'm
play-
more interested in that than anything else.
Bro, I went nuts.
Why is it every state of play they have to the
They
fans
have to
always
knock
go,
it off the
"This is
park.
it.
Right.
This is the time.
The bangers are coming because they're desperate.
They're
That's
like,
what it
this
is.
is the Silent Hill remake. I'm like, guys, they're not.
Uh-huh.
No, they just said that. They literally said, this is, like I said, it's not Sony's fault. Sony literally just said, we're coming out to showcase some of our Japanese product. That's it. Like, what the hell's wrong with everybody? Didn't they understand what they said the first time?
Yes.
Like, Jesus Christ, like walking into a strip club and they're like, yeah, listen, guys, it's topless only. You go in the club and then you get pissed off that they're not totally naked. They said topless at the door.
Yeah, man.
So, like, what did you expect when you walked in? It's not a
console-specific thing. It's not a console-specific thing. It really is a gamer-wide thing. Folks are hard-headed. They don't listen. I don't know. Maybe they need some hearing aids or whatever. I don't know what it is. But, yo, at this point now, with Sony, press conferences, big or small, like this one I didn't even watch at all, right? I had my cell phone. I could watch it at work. I didn't care at all. I was like, I'll come home. I'll see all the reactions. I already will know, what's good to listen to.
You're just upset because State of Play was amazing. And
hey, I saw lots of games on there that I want.
It was way better than what Xbox has been showing the last few months, which is nothing.
I only got one question to ask every single one.
Cowabunga collection. I'm buying that on Steam.
But I only got one question to ask.
But if I only had Xbox, I'd get on that.
Yeah, hurry up, Fireballs. I want you to get in there with Mag before he leaves.
Oh, yeah. I got it.
Coming in here on Di-RRec Gaming and kicking it with the crew, man. For real.
What's going on, Mag? It's finally the boss in the Mag.
Yeah, and you show up when I'm walking out the door. What the hell is that all about? You should have been here half an hour ago.
I think it was my PlayStation shirt. What is that? What drove you away?
Shoot. I was trying to hold out a little bit longer so I wouldn't have to pay you back this $25.
Yeah, but I gotta bounce out for work because I work at my company's international. So we when I have to do my calls to do end of day calls, I have to do 3 different sets of them for the 3 different time zones. It's ridiculous. So like I feel like one of those those telemarketers that call from like India whenever you have a problem with your Visa card, and it's like all these different time zones I got to deal with, right? So that's only, but this is the last one of the night.
My posse right here crashed the show.
No, it's awesome that they crashed the show. I wouldn't feel so bad if it was just you and I.
No,
I was gonna be like, all right, see you later, and you're on your own.
I'm gonna let Six Slayer finish it out tonight. Mag, let them know where they can find you at, man, so you can get back to your job, and we're gonna end this out, man.
Yeah, guys, listen, hey, everybody, guys, thank you so much for having me on, and of course, Di-RRec Gaming, thank you. This was a lot of fun. Chat, you guys were amazing. Guys, oh, and by the way, Sammy V, thank you for putting the link in the chat. Middle-aged Game Guy on Twitter. That's where you're going to find all of my shenanigans. On the YouTube front, you guys know that I do shows all the time for different people, mostly Mr. Boomstick XL. I've actually got a couple of other things in the works, not permanent things because my job won't let me. So I just kind of do appearances here and there these days. And, of course, a lot of my shenanigans on Twitter. As for my own YouTube stuff, I am not doing much of that because I actually have a personal vendetta against YouTube with some of the things. Well, it's about licensing and things like that, right? And I disagree with the licensing that they've got going on. And so, therefore, I've decided not to air a lot of my stuff on there. So that's why I've just put it on Twitter because I ain't here for the money. I'm just here because I enjoy the community. I love the community.
You're here for the love, bro.
I love it.
Totally.
I love all you guys in this, the podcasters, the gamers. I don't give a shit what you're on when you're on Nintendo. Well, maybe Nintendo Switch and all that. But anyways, in all seriousness, though, like Sony guys, PlayStation guys. Oh, that's the other thing. Sony and Xbox. Okay, on the PS5 and on my Series X. I am the Mag. That is in all capitals and all one word. If you ever want to come check me out, come play games with me, come talk to me. Got any questions about Elden Ring? I'm right there, and you'll always find me online. But anyways, guys, it was an absolute honor. It was a lot of fun, and I will keep watching the shows. I love watching the shows. You guys are great. It's like listening to people just talking around, sitting around, having a couple drinks. You know what I mean? So,
hey, man,
anyways,
we appreciate it, man. We
boys,
really do, brother.
No problem. Di-RRec.
Thank
everybody
you, man,
else
for
on the
everything,
panel.
man. We finally made it happen. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man.
See you guys later, boys.
Yes,
Have a good
sir.
night.
All right.
Six Slayer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
To get back to what you were saying, right? Because I'm interested in what you wanted.
I'm surprised you guys were all mad, or you guys are laughing this time.
About the state of play? Okay, like I said, I've seen enough of these, and I had heard, and exactly what Max said. I remember they had said this isn't a big deal. It was going to be like, 20 minutes or something like that. It wasn't supposed to be very long, right? So, I was like, I'll just check out the results later. Plus, as I've said many times before, when it comes to Sony and E3, and I know this was an E3 type of situation, but half the time you can't even watch what they present because they'll present it like it's an exclusive when the game is multiplat. Like the Turtles collection. That's going to be on everything, including Steam. Okay, Xbox has it on their YouTube account right now. They just put it up like an hour ago, right? I noticed a notification right where your phone call would have been if it showed up on my phone. So, yeah, once again, yes, you did call me. It's in the call log, but I didn't get a notification and it never rang. I was here in this room the whole time. I was playing Grand Theft Auto on my Steam Deck, which I finally had gotten working. So
it's okay.
I don't know, but either way,
I don't want you to get review bombed or anything. You don't have to prove anything.
But
and then cancel your YouTube channel and cancel your Twitter account.
It happens. But so I was like, I'll just watch it. I'll find out what happens later on and see where these games are gonna be. And then there were a lot of people are saying like this was a great Xbox show, or this was a great PC show.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the Japanese were saying.
It's a great, the Japanese were saying that particularly.
Yeah,
the Japanese ain't too happy with PlayStation nowadays.
Yeah, Xbox's dopeness was applauding, saying, "Yay, great Xbox show." And I'm like,
but honestly, it was a great show if you rocked PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. Not so much Nintendo Switch, unfortunately, but hey, there you go. Like, it didn't matter what console you preferred, there was games there for you.
You know what was awesome? Which game is it that's going to game? Is it that Trek to Yumi?
Yeah, it's some kind of samurai game. Yeah. It's coming
from
straight to Game Pass. They stole their thunder. And exactly the point I was making too. Like they present stuff like it's exclusive to their platform. They never mention the other platforms, which you understand, right? But the way they talk about it, the way they present it, it still gives you those vibes even when they don't show you any logos at the end.
I'm glad y'all are both saying that.
Even me, that's more seasoned and understood how they show. Even I kind of got duped into it's like, dude, there's a lot of exclusives here.
It's funny you brought that up, Sick, because that Valkyrie Elysium, that's actually, from what I'm understanding, that's supposed to be timed. But the moment that was brought up, did you notice that all of a sudden it disappeared? All that information disappeared.
Mm-hmm. That's why I don't watch a lot of these streams anymore.
Y'all mentioned that because what does our famous all-star player of the year always says? The one down there that I had to make him humble. He says perception, right?
Man, look at this guy. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
All right,
anyways, a lot of the games were presented.
You get Game Pass for $9.99. You know that, right? All right, I'll be there in a minute. All right, give me about 5 minutes. All right.
Yeah, like you said, the way they presented it, it seemed like they were exclusive, and even I got kind of fooled and like, damn, that's a lot of games.
That's Sony for you. They always do this.
That perception, man.
Yep. Particularly on E3.
Until Twitter started lighting up, where Nintendo was saying, "Hey, this is coming out on this platform too."
Yeah, it used to be, and before Twitter, it used to be NeoGAF, and I know Reset Era. Now it is now. But that's where all that information was. Even though it was a den of PlayStation fanboys, always was. That's right. Always will be. At least the information was there when you would look for it. You'd go after a stream was done, or even during. It was all there. His ex was a Tommy Susan. Of course, that's how it goes, bro. Listen, it's just your turn right now. It's somebody else's turn right now.
Right.
Don't worry about it.
She went to the other platforms.
What? No crossplay?
No, his ex was a time exclusive he posted. There's no crossplay, man. I guess he doesn't play that game neither. Hey, I don't blame you, Range G4. Don't blame you.
You're like, how come I don't get the exclusive maps?
Right.
Y'all holding me back.
I gotta get out of here, man. I gotta go pick my daughter up, man. I gotta go pick her up. So mommy not gonna pick her up. I gotta go pick her up. But appreciate you guys. Tech, I think Tech's doing a show in a minute.
No,
right?
I'm not. You guys took over. I'm full, dude. I'm too full.
Oh, you went to go eat. See, Tech. See, now I'm gonna get on Tech for me being 10 minutes late. So I hitting up Tech, no answer. Then he responds an hour in. Man, I was getting something to eat. I'm full.
Stuff in his gullet.
Yeah.
I'm full, man.
That's all now. Good. We'll get you.
Rain, it's the Gabe gear, Rain. It's the Gabe gear.
Just whenever, man.
Hey, Legal, he looking at the phone.
Just popped in. Look, he just popped in just to be in.
Yeah. I just popped in the comment. Yeah, I just finished coming out of work. Oh, what the? What
Hey,
these
Jay, you been
hooligans
rocking
doing
that
over
Elden
here?
Ring, bro?
What these hooligans doing?
Man.
What these criminals up to over here?
Criminal activity.
What these criminals doing here?
It's crazy.
I just finished eating my slice of humble pie because the realist and this dude over here.
I told him.
I was wrong. You was right.
About what?
Yo, the panel.
Keep them dog shit shows away from Xbox, man. If that's what you got to show, don't show me nothing at all, man. Leave me up to leave me with my imagination.
They don't need to be. I mean, Sony's doing such a great job for them.
All the time, man. All the time.
That shit's trash.
Great Xbox show, guys. Great show.
It was fantastic.
Thank you, Jago6. Look, check us out. Coming soon on Teknoblast channel. We'll be doing a show over there with them. I guess tomorrow or Saturday.
Tomorrow be better.
Whenever he hits us up. But we was gonna do one tonight, but he changed his mind. He ate, so y'all watch the tech.
I ate. Nuts to you.
I ate.
That's it.
I ate.
He put on that
belly.
PlayStation shirt. He ate. That was it.
That was it, man.
Done.
Six Slayer, thanks for bombing
PlayStation
in.
#1, baby.
No doubt, baby.
We'll,
I wish I noticed the phone call. I don't know how that happened.
Crew in. Five Boss, thanks for dropping in. J-Rock, thanks for dropping in. Get home.
I was trying to sell him a Series S earlier today, man.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Where were you?
Target, over by my house.
Up in Irving, right?
Yeah.
Man, bro.
Yeah, but of course, it's offered when I had to pay this damn water bill.
It's like the Xbox fridge for me. I can't find that anywhere, bro.
You can't.
Target already got half my money. It wasn't my money. It was gift cards, but I'm saying.
Well, thank y'all, man. I just want to say thank y'all. Shouts to Mag, right? Shouts to Mag as well, man.
Thanks, Mag.
Thanks to everybody in the Chit Chat community for coming out. Man, allowing that guy to make me laugh and having some good talks.
Finally, some laughter in this
Oh,
channel.
man, he shut it down.
Oh, that dude is hilarious, bro.
Record.
As much as I talk, man, I have to shut up and let him speak. He's just hilarious all the time.
Yeah, it became funny. You know,
Yeah, it's about time. It's always been like the angry show. It's always been the mad black show.
Hey, look, it's all about the smoke. It's all about the disaster, man. But we're gonna keep it moving. I can't have a better panel. I can't. Oh, we're missing the realist. Realist, wherever you at in ASAP. You know what?
He never want to show up.
He probably at
There you go. Baseball bat, baby.
Out there,
you know,
we got
don't
you.
Make me have to do this.
No realist is eating some of them fancy
waffles. We don't need to see the
hat. You better run it high before I grab the hat. Don't make me have to reach over there.
I'd rather wear a Mets hat.
Oh man, you want me to do it? You want me to do it?
Yeah, go get that.
You want me to do
Put
it?
the hat on him, sick.
Oh, he's like,
he took him off. Yo, he took him off. He ain't dropped. He ain't dropped. You took him off.
Yeah, drop. No, I didn't take him off. I didn't take him off.
Oh my God.
Drop, man.
Oh my God. Yo, Chad, you saw that?
Atlanta Braves hats.
Yeah.
Look, the rain.
Yo, he took him. Oh my God. Yo,
That's dirty.
We got him holding up the Yankees.
Yo, my mouse dropped and it clicked off the browser. I was like,
you're right.
Yo, thank you.
I'd rather wear a Mets hat than that nasty ass.
Remember, keep it gaming.
Yeah, my dad would have. My dad would have.
How many championships you got, man? Stop talking.
Right. I hope you see y'all.
That's right. Put respect in the name, boy.
Oh yeah, 27. We got 27 guys.
That's right. 27 titles.
27, but I wasn't there for half of them. But hey,
we're out here trying to not be criminals. We're not out here trying to be toxic people.
You know what? I'm gonna start a baseball channel.
Don't blame us because we're so easy to target. Our hands are up. Look, our hands are up. We stepping out of the car. Don't shoot. Don't shoot us. Right? Take care of your own trash before you worry about us.
Yeah.
Clean your own trash up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. And we know how Houston people love them trash cans.
Hey, we like to clean up our city, man. We like to keep our city clean.
Yeah,
but we got
that ain't New York, man. That ain't New York, man. But we let Mother Nature take care of that for us.
What you talking about, the rats?
Don't mess with Texas, man. We got to pick up the litter.
Listen, they don't want to talk sports. They don't want to talk sports.
Tech, I'm gonna hit you up after the show, man. But how do you think I was doing? I tried to figure some stuff out.
That's fine. Looks like you covered my template though.
Oh, come on, man! Come on!
Ooh, cold-blooded.
Nah.
Cold-blooded. Right there in the heart, bro.
He gonna shoot me. He shot me right in the heart.
We'll have to get together and work on it.
Look, let me try to change it up. Look, he's got me trying to change it up, y'all. Hold on. What about this one? There you go.
Nah, see, it's on the opposite side. It's all right.
Yeah, no shame. That's what I gotta do.
Man, I love y'all, man. Y'all be easy. Get y'all some rest tonight. We got work. Oh, I want to say this before we go. Be safe. We got storms. We got snow. I don't understand.
Bro.
I don't know.
We get 70
had some yesterday. More is coming again.
Blizzard tomorrow. I mean, So
I saw what you did here. You just used my template. There was another one for you. I made another one for you so you can mess with.
Yo, man, he's just putting you under the bus, man. Yeah. He's telling all your secrets. Like, damn.
Poking around.
Don't tell him no more secrets, man. He'll snitch on you every day.
He's part of the Astros management. Just throwing everybody under the bus.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Like, Tech, remind me to never hire you as my PR agent. Never.
Call everybody up.
Oh, there was an echo. I'm looking for 5 minutes. I'm like, what echo? Yo, man. I gotta cut that part out. I gotta cut that part out, by the way.
You imagine Tech as a lawyer? Yeah, he did it.
Hey, y'all, peace out, man. We out.
It was playing another tab. Later, everybody. It's all gaming, bro.
Tech be like, yeah, he did it, Your Honor, but let me tell you why he's innocent.
Peace.
Y'all, peace.